Rats. Forget it. It's too late. How is everybody doing tonight? My name's A.J. Herschel, the kid, and I'm here with the one and only Caedmon Bauer. This is the Allied Rivals podcast. Checking in. How you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm tired, but I'm very good.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice.
How about you?
Same. Pretty much the same. If I'm going to be honest, I went and got myself a haircut today, so got some of the side shade off.
Nice.
Yeah, other than that, not much. Just kind of waiting for Saturday and Trevor Lawrence not playing against Notre Dame. That's going to be exciting. But today we are talking about Saints and Bucs, and as requested by some of you guys, Lions versus Vikings as well. Caedmon, you ready? Let's just jump right into it, shall we?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. Also, quick update. If you haven't checked our other preview on Packers versus 49ers and I can't think straight. Bears versus Texans, go check that out. We also did an Allied Shorts a couple days ago, so go ahead and check that out as well. Yeah, Packers rolled over the 49ers, and it looked exactly how I thought it was going to go. Granted, to anyone who decided to start Richie James in fantasy, you are you're brilliant. To the 1% of you who rostered him, I bet you are dancing happy right now. Great call. Great call. But let's get right into it. So the Lions and Vikings are both in a really weird position where they're not quite out of the playoff race, but it's looking more and more like they will be. Matthew Stafford's questionable on the COVID list, but we don't know if he tested positive or not, so he still could play. If he tests negative this weekend, he will be cleared. Meanwhile, on the Viking side, you're pretty much good. They are coming off of a huge game for them. Dalvin Cook, 4 total touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers, so they're riding high, and they are playing against Detroit at home, and they have won 5 straight games against the Lions. Caedmon, there's no Galladay for Detroit this week. What do the Lions need to do to win?
Yeah, honestly, get the run game going really fast because that's probably going to really help them, especially since Galladay is out. You have guys like Hawkinson and Marvin Jones, who hasn't had a big year so far. Those guys are going to need to step up in order to really win this game. But also, I mean, you saw Dalvin Cook 4 rushing touchdowns. That was
3
incredible.
3 rushing and 1 reception.
3 rushing. Oh, okay, 4 total. And the Lions' defense is not as good as the Packers. So I really wonder what Dalvin Cook could do to the Lions. And not just the defensive line. The Lions secondary isn't getting any better. And you have Justin Jefferson, who's probably top 10 wide receiver so far this year. And Adam Thielen, I think so, man. He's been really good. And then Adam Thielen, he's always right there too. So if one of them is not having a big game, one of the other probably will. Yeah.
It's going to be a rough time for the Lions for sure. They kind of fall into my category of one of the weirdest teams in football, and I think a lot of this hinges on whether Matthew Stafford plays. And as we know, he's a quarterback who can make comebacks and any day of the week. He's very, very underrated. But I mean, part of that is he's played in Detroit for so long. So, I mean, can you really blame him for that? I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens on the ground primarily because these are the Detroit Lions that just let the Colts just dominate. Jordan Wilkins, a touchdown on 20 carries. Rivers threw it all over the place. So the Lions defense is going to have a really, really hard time keeping up. They're weird. They'll have great performances or decent performances against Atlanta, and then they show up against Indianapolis and get absolutely rolled. Granted, Indy does have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Guess who else has a great O-line? The Vikings. Half the reason Dalvin Cook tore up the Packers last week was because his offensive line was making massive holes for him everywhere. The Vikings offensive line is very, very good. I think Dalvin Cook's going to get going early, and the Lions are going to have to stack the box. That's where you hit him over the top with Thielen and Justin Jefferson, who is one of the best deep ball receivers in the league right now. He's inconsistent for fantasy, sure, but in real life, I mean, anyone would take a guy who can go off for 10 catches and 100 yards and like 3 touchdowns in a game. So they lock up on Thielen, they get Jefferson. And I mean, a lot of people hate on Cousins, but I think the Vikings are starting to get it figured out. If Matthew Stafford doesn't play, I think the Lions are dead in the water. I'm going to be honest. Look, Swift is turning into be a decent running back and a great pass catching running back, especially. Adrian Peterson's been chipping in best he can. Even though he's like 70 years old, he has been efficient at the very least. He's been efficient. But no Stafford, no Gall. It all hinges on if Stafford plays. If Stafford plays, I think they have a chance. Hawkinson's going to get catches. MJJ is going to get catches. They're going to be decent through the air at least, especially against the Vikings secondary that has been atrocious half the year. Holton Hill, I think, is still going to be out this week. So it's going to be interesting. If Stafford plays, they have a chance. If they don't, I think it's over. No dissing. I think it's Chase Daniel who's back there. He's experienced, but he ain't going to outplay Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I think Dalvin Cook can really dominate this game even more than he did against the Packers. Just because you don't have guys like Kenny Clark or even linebackers like Zadarius Smith who did some against Dalvin Cook. It wasn't a great game, but he can do so much more to the Lions, I feel like. So I feel like this really hinges on how many times the Lions can get into the end zone, because I think the Vikings will be able to do it pretty well throughout the game with Dalvin Cook, even if the passing game and Kirk Cousins isn't going well.
Yeah,
I'm going to agree. I think Matthew Stafford, he plays, they have such a better chance of winning. If he doesn't, I give them almost nothing.
Yeah,
no chance.
Yeah. I agree.
Just
and
because,
the Vikings, one of the things that they can do well is they can game manage. That's how they almost beat Russell Wilson. They killed the clock the whole game. And even though the Packers got 30, what was it? They got 30 minutes of possession, they still used the time to their advantage. I still trying to figure out how they stifled the Packers defense or Packers offense. Sorry, and Aaron Rodgers. Look, they knocked off Rodgers. They're not going to lose to a possibly Stafford-less, Galladay-less Detroit Lions this week. I don't see it happening. Ben DeHaan in the comment section says, "Go Lions!"
Hey, what's up, Ben?
I know we're kind of hating on your team right there a little bit, but if they had Stafford, I think that if they have Stafford, they have a chance. I think that's what you and I are saying, Gabe.
I think they have a very good chance. Especially, I think they're definitely the better team with Stafford playing. And if they had Galladay, I'd almost immediately give this game to the Lions off the bat. It's just, Dalvin Cook is just so explosive, and I mean, part of it is really on the Lions defense too, because I don't know. When you look at the roster, you say, wow, the Vikings should be way better. Well, it seems like they're not. I mean, I guess September is always bad for Kirk Cousins, and after that, he's supposed to be better, which he has been since then. But I mean, you look at Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, and both JJ and Adam Thielen have more yards than Kenny Galladay, who's their number one.
Well, Galladay was out for the first 3 weeks. You have to remember.
True.
Season.
True. But then also the rushing game, very lopsided. And so is the defense. Even though the Vikings defense is not very good this year, it's better than the Lions defense for sure. And so it's just really weird why these teams, like how the rosters are so unbalanced. Yet I think the Lions have just been able to put together more wins. And I don't know, AJ, what do you think? What's your score prediction for this game?
I think I'm going to give this one to Minnesota. I'll say this is Minnesota. I'll say 28-17 if Stafford doesn't play. If he does, I think this ends up being 28-27 because he alone can bring them back. He's got a great arm, great mobility in the pocket. I think that alone makes a 10-point difference to me, but I think the Vikings are going to game manage like crazy. Even though they lost Yannick Ngakoue, they traded him away. There's like a fire sale going on the Vikings defense. Harrison Smith is like the only rock left in that entire team. I think they'll be able to stop Chase Daniel. And look, Swift and Peterson are good, but they're going to have to throw it eventually. And I do not think they'll be able to stop the run. They cannot stop Dalvin Cook. Ben DeHaan agrees with us. I'll go 31-17 if Stafford doesn't play. If he does, 28-27. What do you think, Caedmon?
I'm going to go if Matthew Stafford does play. I think the Lions win this. I think 25-22. If he doesn't play, I think the Vikings win this 22-15.
There you go. All right. Well, there are predictions for Vikings Lions. The Vikings are like the world's best 2-5 team. Can they just put that on their wall like a school award? Best
World's
2-5 team.
2-5 team.
There we go. But we know the other one that everyone's been waiting for. Oh my goodness. We have had so many terrible primetime games. We have had Cowboys Giants. We have had Giants Eagles. We have had Packers 49ers. And none of these are fun to watch because either A, they're blowouts, or B, we have to watch the NFC East play, which this year is terrible. But finally, Sunday Night Football, a showdown.
We got a good one.
Greatest quarterbacks in history. Saints, Bucks. Oh, I'm excited for this game.
It's a good one.
Finally get a good Sunday night game. Caedmon, what do you think? What do the Saints need to do to win? What do the Bucks need to do to win?
Yeah, so, first with the Saints, Drew Brees and Michael Thomas are both questionable.
I think Drew Brees just lost his designation, by the way. I think he's cleared to play. Just breaking news there.
Okay, that's good. So, and I'm guessing Michael Thomas is playing. He's had plenty of time to recover and, the whole suspension thing. So, I think he's going to play this week. So, once he does, he's probably not going to be like, I don't know, most wide receivers coming off an injury or whatever usually don't have 100% game. But he'll probably I'm guessing he'll receive for like 60 to 70 yards. That's my prediction. I'm guessing Alvin Kamara has a bad game, honestly, because the Tampa Bay run defense is getting better. He was destroyed by the Bears. So I think really you got to get the ball really. Alvin Kamara is going to be bottled up running the ball, not receiving the ball. Since Michael Thomas has been out, he is the Saints' number one wide receiver. And then you have Traquan Smith, Jared Cook. You can kind of go. Those guys aren't as reliable. I'll just say it that way. And I don't think Drew Brees trusts those guys as much. He knows he can trust. Alvin Kamara, and then you have Taysom Hill. He's just kind of a special part added to the offense. If I'm the Saints, I feel like you really just gotta get the ball as much to Alvin Kamara in the beginning, running the ball as much as you can because he can catch the ball all day, but running the ball takes him a little time through the game to develop. So I think they got to get him going early with the run. If I'm the Buccaneers, you got Tom Brady. It's been great. Ronald Jones only getting better. And Chris Godwin is questionable. But even so, Miller, Evans, Gronk, it's all coming together. And then now you have Antonio Brown. So there's another thing. I feel bad for the Saints defense right now, honestly, because you have every key factor you need on the Bucks. It's getting near unstoppable. It's looking like the Chiefs. Maybe it's honestly really looking like the Chiefs. If I am the Buccaneers, I'm just gonna say the same thing. You got to hold Alvin Kamara. I think this game is all on Alvin Kamara. He has a big game, Saints win. He doesn't, Saints lose. There we go.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a close and exciting game. I think, oh my goodness. See, Tampa Bay's defense is currently number one in the league in almost every metric. They are number 2 in, I think, pass behind Baltimore and number 2 in rush behind Pittsburgh. But if you average everything out, they are the number 1 defense in the entire league. That says something. Their defense's front 7 is incredible. Their secondary locks down on almost everyone. Saints are coming off a close game against, of all teams, Chicago, where David Montgomery actually had his first decent game of the year. And when they didn't apply pressure on Nick Foles, he hit him over the top to Darnell Mooney. So the Saints have come off 2 really way too close than they should have been games against Carolina and Chicago. Tampa is coming off against a really weird scare against the Giants. I think that was a fluke. I think that was just one bad game they had. But
probably.
Other than that, this is a team that we've said is probably the most complete team in football. They destroyed the Raiders the week before. They destroyed the Packers the week before. So they're coming off of 3 straight wins. Leonard Fournette has usurped the number 1 role in the backfield over Ronald Jones. He's getting more carries. He's being more efficient with his carries. He's not fumbling. And the Bucs get Antonio stinking Brown? How is this legal? They have Godwin, who is questionable, granted, but then Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller, Rob Gronkowski is back to not quite what he used to be, but he's still great. O.J. Howard
Still
and Cameron Brate were healthy, and Ronald Jones is a great pass catcher. That is 8 weapons. You can rotate them out like crazy. This offense is arguably another one of the best in the league, and Brady is having one of the best seasons he's had in recent memory behind a great offensive line and with a great wide receiving core. The Saints are also doing well, but they've looked weird with no Thomas, especially no Emmanuel Sanders last week. Breeze has done very, very well throwing the ball to his receivers. Other than Thomas and Sanders, he's done very, very well. Cook has also been getting a nice little target share, especially in the red zone with Thomas gone. Kamara is absolutely insane. But what do the Bucs do well? They stop the run. They hawk up on the run very, very well. And I think the first game they lost against the Saints, it was the first game they ever played as an entire unit. I think the Bucs come back and win this one. I think it's definitely going to be close. I think it's going to be 34-30. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think Thomas is going to be at 100% coming off of another injury. He's been out for half the year. I think the Saints are finally going to let their close games catch up to them against one of the best teams in the league. I think the Bucs win at 34-30, but it's going to be close and it's going to be exciting.
Awesome. We got some comments here.
Let's get to it.
Thick Boy Gaming. What's up, boys?
What's up? Thoughts on the Packers? Ben. Ben got his prediction for us. Says 31-27 Bucs. Nice. So what do you think, Caedmon? You're the Packers fan, so you take this first.
Packers, you know what? Against the Vikings, that was a fluke. I'm almost positive. The loss against the Bucs, I think we just weren't ready for, and I think we would play them much better now. I think really once you get Aaron Jones going and you have Jamal Williams back as well, it's going to be a really unstoppable offense. And I mean, it was really yesterday until we basically had the game. And we started putting in backups and Boyle. So the offense is great. And, the defense, though. Nick Mullins, he could have thrown like 8 interceptions last night. He threw 1 because the Packers didn't catch the ball. They blocked the ball, forced a lot of incompletions, but they were not able to force as many turnovers as they should have. Zadarius Smith had a great game. Preston Smith had kind of his first better game this year. D-line was good. And but you know what? It was Nick Mullins. So I think the game would have been totally different with Jimmy G out there. And Brandon Ayuk, just give him someone. Richie James was amazing. But by the time he really went really big on yards was when the Packers had all backups in and it was garbage points at that time. So I think Packers definitely top 4 team in the league, in the whole NFL. The teams I'd put in front of that are probably Chiefs, Steelers, and Seahawks. But that's just on right now. I think they're better than the Buccaneers, and I think that if they played them this week, Packers would win.
Interesting. I completely disagree on that. I think the Vikings game was a fluke for the offense, but not the defense. The Packers defense is good, but what did they get beat by in the NFC Championship last year? The run game. They got destroyed by Raheem Mostert. This is the second year in a row. They added next to no one on the defense in the draft. They got next to no one in free agency. And I know Blake Martinez wasn't your favorite guy, but at least he was a run stopper and got tackles. Like, he at least prevented the run to some extent. You lost him, so you've lost one defensive piece. In all essence, the Packers' run defense is worse. They are bottom 4 in run efficiency in the league. They are fourth worst in the league against the run. And that's including the game where they locked up against the 49ers. I don't think the Dalvin Cook game was a fluke. I think the Packers scoring 22 points on a Vikings defense that's a fluke. That's completely a fluke. That's not normal. But I think the run game is something that they need to address. This is the second year in a row this has been a problem. And if they don't get that fixed, I don't see them beating the Bucs, who have the number one defense in the league. I think Brady would pick them apart, honestly, especially with all the weapons that Tampa has. Their offense would definitely be good. But also, this is Bruce Arians we're talking about, who's one of the best coaches in the league when it comes to making adjustments. I'd put them top 5, probably. I'd put them behind Chiefs because they're just thinking incredible right now. Chiefs are definitely 1. I'd put them behind the Bucs easily. Steelers have too good of a defense. Seattle is the closest one. I need to see how they perform with Carlos Dunlap this week. If their run-stopping game is better, then I'll probably put them and the Packers are tied because they both have great offenses, but the Seahawks have have a mediocre defense, and the Packers have a good pass defense but a terrible run defense. So I really need that to balance out. If they don't stop the run, I don't see the Packers making it to the Super Bowl because there's a lot of teams that could eat them up on the ground. I think they're great. Their offense is great.
Yeah.
But they got to stop the run.
Yeah. And I'm going to give my predictions for Buccaneers Saints. I think if Alvin Kamara has a big running game, Saints take this 38-31. A 7-point difference. He doesn't do well. Buccaneers win this 31 18. I think it'll be a big win if the Buccaneers can keep Alvin Kamara from running the ball because he's so good.
He is. It's definitely going to be interesting.
And many games he hasn't had a ton of opportunity to run the ball because the defense knows it's going to happen and it's going to go to Alvin Kamara, so they just like double, triple team him because it's going to go to no one.
Yep, absolutely. Interesting tidbit, though, for any of you people watching the game. Not only if Michael Thomas plays, watch Jared Cook this week. He is one of the reasons that the Saints beat the Bucs in the first game. Breeze was able to hit him on a lot of nice targets that he was able to catch and run. He finished the game with 80 yards. Watch Kamara, watch Thomas. Also, be sure to watch Jared Cook. They got beat by Jimmy Graham with the Bears. That's part of the reason they got beat. They couldn't cover him. Watch Jared Cook this week. I think he's going to be a key if the Saints win or not. If they lock up on him, it could be over. Thick Boy Gaming says we should get him and Ben in an episode sometime. We'll see about that. We'll see what happens. But
and then we have
again.
Packers beat Bucs in NFC Championship game, and I am all for that. But I think it won't be the Bucs. I think it'll be the Seahawks.
Yeah, even if it's the Seahawks or the Bucs at this point, I don't see it happening at all because the Bucs pass rush is top in the league. Their pass coverage is top in the league. Their run defense is top in the league. Their running game is top in the league. They just added Antonio Brown, and the Packers, statistically. They're statistically top in the league. Ronald Jones topped 100 yards in 3 straight games, and then he and Leonard Fournette combined for 100 yards in 2 straight games. And on top of that, the Packers still can't stop the run, and that's what they're great at. So then they start stacking the box. That's when Brady hits it over the top to Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, O.J. Howard. There's so many weapons on the offense, and the Packers defense is bottom 4 right now. And they don't create turnovers. They're bottom 4 in turnovers as well.
Are overrated. The Buccaneers are overrated. I'm just going to say that.
Well, the Packers defense has done next to nothing when playing good teams. So I don't know what you want to say.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that our corners were injured.
Yeah, and even with Jair Alexander coming back 2 weeks ago.
And Kevin King, but Kevin King's also out.
Yeah, but still, either way. They've got to lock up on defense.
Yeah. It's going to happen, AJ. It's going to happen. It's going to all come together like week 12. They're going to whoop the Bears. It's going to be beautiful.
Oh, they probably will. I fully expect that to happen.
Yeah.
I fully expect that to happen. But look, it's the second year in a row. The Packers have the same problem. It's their kryptonite. It happened in the playoffs last year, and unless they get something figured out, which that is one thing. I really expected the Packers to make a move at the trade deadline. Like, they did nothing. They didn't get Will Fuller. They didn't get anyone on the defensive line, which they could have really used because they just got embarrassed by Dalvin Cook, and they did nothing. Caedmon, were you shocked that they didn't do anything?
I felt like they should have tried to get a defensive lineman that would really be able to help Kenny Clark, because Blake Martinez sort of played D line for a lot of his career with the Packers, and Zadarius Smith doesn't play as much like a D lineman. He plays more like a normal linebacker, and he plays the pass decent, but I think he kind of just sits back more, and he puts pressure on the quarterback more, less the run game, actually. Blake Martinez takes the run game. You got to get a defensive lineman in there with Kenny Clark.
Yep.
I mean, there's a reason that all the other D linemen are in the NFL, sure, but none of them are as good as Kenny Clark, or two of them aren't as good as Kenny Clark, honestly. Two of them together. You got to get someone in there to help Kenny Clark, because that just makes your defense so much better. Linebackers can play in different ways than they ever could before, and it changes up the whole defense, whole game.
Yeah.
Got to get a defensive lineman.
Yeah, especially when you're in a league nowadays that there are like certain teams that can stop the run with one player. Like Aaron Donald, one of the best players in the league at stopping the run and getting at the quarterback. Myles Garrett is having a defensive player of the year type year.
He's
Khalil Mack
amazing.
is incredible in tackles for loss and is top 10 in the league in pass pressures. If the Packers can't stop Dalvin Cook with just Kenny Clark, that means they need help. I was shocked. I thought they would trade for Carlos Dunlap or Geno Atkins even, or someone. I was genuinely shocked.
Yeah. I think, Zadarius Smith, we all know, is amazing. He's one of the best linebackers in the league for sure. He has I think 7-8 sacks, something like that. So he's up there with Myles Garrett and those guys, but they play different games. They go to different spots, like they're coached differently. And one thing that I know Matt LaFleur has been pushing Zadarius to do more this year is not as much focusing on the run game, which I think may be ending up to be a problem if you play Dalvin Cook when you play Dalvin. Wait, we're not playing Dalvin Cook again. Yes! But let's say we play Alvin Kamara in the playoffs.
Or even just the Bucs, too. Rojo and Fournette.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucs offensive line isn't as good as it's cracked up to be.
They've been top 10 the whole year. Brady's the only time he was under pressure the entire year was against Chicago. Like, he's been very well protected so far.
He doesn't get sacked a lot, but he's gotten enough hits and where he has to scramble, which you don't want to see Brady scramble because he's slow. So you don't want to see that. But I'm honestly going to say I think their O-line is overrated, and I think the Packers could demolish it if they had another defensive lineman that was really good.
Agreed.
I think they can still do. It's still a really good defense in general. I mean, you have all the players you need to make a good defense, even without a really good defensive lineman to help Kenny Clark, because you still got Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, Rashawn Gary can be good. I don't know, AJ. I don't know. It'll develop. It'll develop, AJ. Just watch.
I don't know.
Just watch, AJ.
They have less players than last year. They lost Martinez, who is at least a tackle monster, and didn't add anyone. They didn't. Yeah, he's leading the league in tackles, which is just hilarious.
It's amazing. He's so good.
It's
crazy. I mean, well, okay, so I'm going to say this. Zadarius Smith, Blake Martinez play different games. Zadarius takes the quarterback. Blake Martinez doesn't go to the quarterback. He waits for the run game. And so when you play the Giants, that's where he's at, right? When you play the Giants, you're not going to get a huge run game, honestly, just because Blake Martinez is there and is going to get 8 tackles on you. But as far as the pass game, I feel bad for Blake, because if it's not working with the run, Blake's not going to get hardly.
Why did he go to the Giants? If it's for money, then I kind of get it, but why? Why?
I personally wouldn't take that money to be on a stinking team.
Yeah, just take less and go to Seattle. They could use the help.
I don't know, AJ. I think I'm really excited. We're going to have a big preview for Week 12 Packers-Bears, because that is going to be the biggest, one of the best defenses in the league versus one of the best offenses. Excited for that week.
Yeah.
But we're wrapping this up, right? Can I say something?
Yep. Go ahead.
We're probably going to have a guest in one of our next 2-3 episodes. So look forward to that. Comment. Yeah, it'll be fun. We love guests.
Next week, hopefully. Next week, probably on week 9 or week 10 of the NFL is what it's looking like. But let us know what you guys think about Saints, Bucks, and Packers. Sorry, not Packers. Lions versus Vikings in the comments below. And the rest of the NFL, be sure to let us know what other stuff you want us to talk about. Caedmon, you got anything else?
Just thank you, Ben DeHaan and Thick Boy Gaming, for tuning in.
There we go. We just hit 60 subscribers today.
Sir.
So be sure everybody to subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is A.J. Herschel, the Kid, and I am here with Caedmon Bauer on the Allied Rivals podcast. We will see you guys next time. Have a good one, everybody.